Okay, so you did learn this last year in Algebra 1. Most of this is actually a review. So, let's start. The first thing is graphing in slope-intercept form. So, slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. I know it's written right here. However, when I write it, it helps me remember it more. Now, let's talk about what all four of these variables mean. Y is the actual y that's in your point. So, when you have a point, that is your y. M is your what? Slope. Your x is another point, is the point that comes from here, like a coordinate point. And b is your y-intercept. B and y are not the same thing. Okay? Not the same thing. So, this is a review. What's the slope in number 1? What's the y-intercept?
1.
Okay? So we had to make sure y was by itself. When y is by itself, then we can determine the slope and the y-intercept. Well, the slope was 3, and the y-intercept was 1. Well, we always start with the y-intercept. So go to your origin, and since it's 1, you're going to go up to 1, and that's where you cross the y-axis. Now, your slope is positive 3, which means you need to go up 3 and over 1. Here is my rule when we're graphing. I want to see 4 points. Does that make sense? Like that's 1 point. So then go up 3 and over 1. That's another point. Up 3 over 1. That's another point. But I'm about to run out of room. So what do? Go down. So go down 3 over 1. And then I like to use a ruler. So what you looking for, James? Right here. So you might want a ruler. Okay. All right. Well, let's try number 2. Yes. Yes. Put your arrows on your line. Put your arrows on your line. Okay. What's the problem with number 2? Y is not by itself. The negative 2 is connected to the y. So we have to get rid of it. Well, if they're connected by multiplication, the only way to break it is division. So, divide by negative 2 to everything. Not just one thing, to everything. So now, your negative 2's right here cancel out. You're left with y equals, what is 6 divided by negative 2?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is positive 2. Alright, practice graphing this when you're done. Your y-intercept where you start is 2. So this is where you start on the y-axis. And then that is your slope. Okay, let's try number 3. Now, there's 2 steps in number 3. What's the first one? You have to move 2x. And it's positive right now, so subtract it from both sides. So it'll cancel out right here. And you'll have 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. Now what? Divide by 3. So your 3's cancel. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus what? 2. Plus 2. Don't put your slope as a decimal. because I don't know how to draw a slope that is negative 0.6666666 further. And I don't like that number. So, fraction. All right, well, go up to positive 2. Down 2, right, 3. Down 2, right, 3. And then I'm going to go up 2 over 3. Don't forget your arrows, Lakeland. Hey. Alright, now is when you need your piece of paper. Hey. Thank you. Can I have a scratch piece of paper?
Do I need to have that paper?
No, it doesn't have to be graphed. Okay, so what happens next is after page 11, I accidentally skipped a page in your notes. So it's fine. I'm very sorry, but it's fine. Life goes on. Everybody makes mistakes. Thanks, Hannah Montana. Okay, so we're going to have to write the next part. And it's not graphing, so you don't have to worry about scratch piece paper. Graph paper. Okay, so here is how to write equations. So we're going old-fashioned for like 10 minutes. Write equations in slope-intercept form. Now, remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we have 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1. You're given, this is best case scenario, so this is not the necessarily hard ones. Your slope is equal to negative 3, and your y-intercept is equal to negative 2. Write this in slope-intercept form. Well, all we need, remember we usually, to leave it in slope-intercept form, the only variables that we're going to have plugged in are m and b. Well, guess what? I have m and we have b. So, all you have to do is y equals negative 3x minus 2. That's it. Coolio? All right. Talking to myself. Awesome.
Said something, so.
All right, scenario 2. Scenario 2. We have a slope, which is negative 3 divided by 4. And we have a point, which is negative 2, 5. Okay. Well, here's the problem. I have m, but we don't have b. This is not b. This is what? That's y. And this is x. So what do we have? We have m, we have x, and we have y. Well, in this formula, m, x, y, so if I plug those in, can't I solve for b?
Yeah.
Awesome. 5 equals negative 3 fourths times x, which is negative 2, plus b. 5 equals 6 fourths, right?
Yes.
6 fourths plus b. So, do y'all know how to do a fraction in your calculator?
Yes.
Is there anyone that doesn't? Okay. Jay, you got the cool calculator. It's easy peasy. Watch. Watch. 5. Do it with me. 5 minus, parentheses, 6 divided by 4, parentheses. Okay, then press enter. You're going to get a decimal. But go up here to math. You see math right here? Press math. You see it's on fraction? Press it twice. Okay, however, if you have this calculator, you still can do it the same way. 5 minus, don't use parentheses though, you'll put 6, and then press this ABC button. So it makes like a little comma looking thing. 4. And you get 3 1/2. So that's the only problem. You get 3 1/2. But can I make this into an improper fraction? 3 times 2 is plus 1, 7. So 7 halves is equal to B. Same thing. But this is your y-intercept, and I don't really mind if your y-intercept is in a decimal because it's not slope. It's not rise over run. It's where you're starting. So this could be 3 1/2. 3 5/10. Okay, so I have B, I have M. Plug it in, plug it in. Y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3 1/2. 3 5/10. Okay? Okay, one more scenario for this type. Scenario 3. You're given 2 points. And that's it. And you have to find your M and your B. Right? So you know how to find the slope. Negative 1 minus 3. Y is on top. Negative 2 minus 0. So this becomes negative 4 divided by negative 2, which is just positive 2. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Okay, now, we're back to the same place we were up here. We have a slope and we have a point. It does not matter which point you use. Okay? It does not matter. However, whichever point you use for x, you have to use that same y. Does that make sense? So don't pick x from here and y from here. Whichever one you're going with, commit to it, x and y. However, I would always choose the one that has 0. So, thank you. So what's your y for this one? Okay, so y equals slope x plus b. Why do you think I always use the one that has 0? It's easier. Cancels out. So b equals 3. Now you have your b and you have your slope. So your answer is y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, now we're back to our notes, right? I think we are. What time do we get out of here? 58? Okay. I want you to try 5 through 7. You're writing these both in point slope. I'm sorry, slope intercept. Slope intercept. Are y'all checking your answers with mine? Are y'all getting the same thing? What is it? What question? What are y'all talking about?
Is it negative or positive?
Here?
No.
I got positive.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
When I do number 6, I can do this.
I did 2 for this one, right here. Yeah, but then you have 1 equals negative 6 plus b, so you have to add 6 over. That's how you. Yours not finished. Yes? Is this what y'all got? Okay. Okay. It's okay if you didn't quite get finished. Alright, we have a couple more things to go on to. So, point slope form is a little bit easier. However, the formula is a little bit longer. So, you have y minus y1 equals your slope times x minus x1. Now, you only will plug in to y1, m, and x1. Your y will always stay as y. Your x will always stay as x. So, when you're writing an equation in point slope form, when you're given your slope and your point, this y stays the same. And then you have minus your y, which is here, which is 5, equals your slope, which is negative 2/3, parentheses, x minus your 2. And then you leave it in point slope. Try 2 when you're finished.
And what was 7 for that?
3 divided by 2x plus 3. Try 2. All you're doing is plugging it in.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Is this test in Valley Day?
Yes.
Oh my god. Why do you always bring out their tests
I
in Valley Day?
Don't know. So what happens right here? Yep, 2 negatives make a positive 5x minus 3. Okay, I need you to go back to your scratch piece of paper real quick. Okay, now we need to combine this section and section 3. Okay, so what I want you to do is down here, you can just number this number 4. We have a line that passes through point 2, 0. However, it's perpendicular to the line y equals 1/5 x plus 2. So what I need you to do is in slope-intercept, which is what? In slope-intercept form, write me a line that goes through this point, but is perpendicular to this point, or this line. Well, what's the slope of this? Okay, well, if a line is perpendicular, what is the slope of the new line? -5. Okay, well, now we're back to step 1. We have M, but we don't have B. Can you find it? Well, your y is equal to 0. M is -5. X is 2 plus B. So now you just have to plug it in. No, because you move it over and it becomes positive. But the 2 was positive. Only the 5 was negative. Does that make sense?
Those students that are going to the superintendent's advisory council, please go to the bus canopy at this time. Please go to the bus canopy at this time.
Okay, so we have this point, and then we have this line. It has to be perpendicular, so we took the opposite reciprocal. Okay, well, we plug it in. Y is 0. Slope is -5. 2 is positive, so negative, switch it, positive. Okay, one more, and then we're going to practice. Okay, is this scenario 5 or, yeah, 5? Okay, passing through point -3, 6, and it's parallel to y equals -3/4 x plus 3. Try it. Slope-intercept, yeah. That's good. Either one, Cesar. You can leave it as either one. Check your answer. Right. But if they're parallel, then they're the same. Alright. Awesome sauce. Okay, so what I want you to do for practice. Now, I know it seems like I'm giving you a lot of homework. However, this is your first priority. Okay? So if you don't do your transversal practice I'm not checking it. I will never know till Wednesday if you did it this weekend. Okay? But I do want to check 1 through 10 on Monday.
What they hit on this?
Uh-huh. Okay? So 1 through 10. And then I'm just trying to give you a goal. So on your transversal practice, finish through 30. So next week will be a little bit easier on you. But I'm not checking the transversal practice till Wednesday. So I will never know. Up to you. Don't do that.